Hello, everyone. We're going to get started in just a moment. I have received some notice that a number of you are here to comment on a Madison Utilities matter. I wanted to let you know that we have comment cards in the back of the room. And if you want to comment on the Madison Utilities issue, please fill out a comment card and turn it in to Lisa up front. She's collecting them. And we're going to take those comments first. I'm going to call you up off your comment card, and we have representatives from Madison Utilities here who will stay for the duration of the comments for MU issues. And so if you'll fill out a card, put MU or water or something on there that we know, you get to move to the top of the stack, and we will take your comments first during public comments and just turn those in to Lisa, okay? We'll get started in just a minute. Good evening, everyone. It is Monday, April 28th at 6 p.m., and I'd like to call the City Council meeting to order. We're going to begin by inviting Pastor Lewis Martin of Madison Church of the Nazarene forward for the invocation.
Let's pray. Father God, thank you for the gift of this day and for the opportunity to come together in service of our community. As this council gathers, we pause and recognize our need for your wisdom, your patience, and your guidance. Grant these leaders clear minds and steady hearts. Help them to listen carefully, to speak thoughtfully, and to act with fairness and compassion. May every decision made here tonight reflect the genuine desire to serve the common good and to strengthen the bonds that hold our city together. Bless our neighborhoods, our schools, our businesses, and every home. Protect those who serve others, our first responders, our educators, our volunteers. Inspire each of us to find ways to contribute to the health and future of this community. Give us courage to face the challenges honestly, grace to respect different opinions, and hope to believe that together we can build a stronger, kinder, and more just city. Be present with us now, and may all that is done here tonight be rooted in wisdom, guided by service, and aimed toward the flourishing of all. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we begin roll call, I think I should let you know that the Mayor, City Council President John Seifert, and District 2 member Connie Spears are in D.C. This week for a chamber trip to DC, so they're representing us there. And it appears that Ms. Denzine is not here this evening, but we do have quorum, so let's begin with the roll call, please.
Mayor Finley, Councilmember Robleski,
Here.
Councilmember Spears, Councilmember Powell,
Here.
Councilmember Shaw,
Here.
Council President Pro Tem Bartlett.
Here. If you want to shorten that, that'll be fine.
Thank you.
Okay, so on amendments to the agenda, I am going to add under presentations and awards an item D, and that's going to be a presentation from representatives of Madison Utilities. If you came in later for this meeting, I wanted to let you know that we have comment cards in the back of the room, and Lisa also has some up here, our clerk. And if you want to speak on the MU or water fluoridation issue, if you can fill out a comment card and put on the comment MU or water and give that to Lisa, we will put your cards on top and get to your comments first while we have representatives from MU here who can hear what you have to say. So we will bring you forward first. Otherwise, you can speak later, but I won't get to you unless you fill out a comment card first. Okay, we're going to begin with approval of minutes number 2025-07-RG.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, motion by Shaw, second by Powell. Any discussion? Ready for a vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Spears, Councilmember Powell,
Aye.
Councilmember Shaw,
Aye.
Councilmember Bartlett,
Aye.
Councilmember Denzine, Councilmember Seifert.
And the minutes are approved. For our first presentation, we have a certificate to HDS Bomb Shop for assembling sensory eggs for special needs children to participate in the city's Egg Extravaganza event. Will those representatives please come forward? You want to come to the podium? If you have anything you'd like to say. So let me, on behalf of the mayor, present to you this certificate for donating your labor to the city of Madison Special Needs Easter Egg Extravaganza. Let's take a picture right here to thank you.
Thank you. It was very fun to get something to do different than making our normal IEDs in the bomb shop. It broke up the monotony of doing the same thing every single day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
Next, we have a presentation from Madison Friends of the Library.
My name is Jeff Davis. I am the president of the Madison Friends of the Library Group. And on behalf of our organization, we would like to present a check to the library for $18,000. Katie would like to provide us with an update of the Friends.
All right, thank you, Jeff. I just wanted to give a quick overview of some of the accomplishments of our Madison Friends of the Library group. Friends of the Library is a national organization devoted to supporting local libraries. Each Huntsville-Madison County Public Library branch has its own Friends of the Library group. Our Madison Friends group is 165 members strong, and it's led by our board, our president, Jeff Davis, Vice President Dave Butler, Treasurer Janetta Wilson, Secretary Kylie Perkins, and our City Council liaison, Mara Robleski. Our Madison Friends of the Library raises thousands of dollars each year to support the library. They do this mainly through the bookstore inside the library, which sells donated books that community members have donated, and also library discards. The bookstore is open all the hours that the library is open. In addition to the regular book sales bookstore sales. We also have several large book sales a year where our book sale organizer is known to bring out things that she likes to refer to as treasures. Lots of neat collectibles and leather-bound books and things like that. So you definitely do not want to miss a treasure sale. And they also, of course, have membership fees and donations. The Friends use all of these funds that they raise both to make a yearly contribution which supports the library's regular operating budget. For fiscal year 2025, that is $18,000, as Jeff just gave us. But in addition to supporting the regular operating budget, they also help support special events, things like author visits, community events such as the Christmas trees downtown, special events at the library like our Bluey party that we had on New Year's, and also staff appreciation events. And in addition to these, we have a couple highlights of projects that they have recently completed for the library. The first of these is they've helped to purchase instruments for our outdoor music garden. This has been a very popular addition on the back side of the library, right outside the children's room. There's a xylophone and another smaller kind of chime thing, and the very popular set of drums. So anytime you're at the library, if you hear random music, it's probably coming from the outdoor music garden. And the Friends contributed significantly to the purchase of these instruments. Also, if you have driven by the library anytime recently, you have probably noticed our beautiful new digital sign. This sign allows us to advertise our programs, important library information, such as holidays, unplanned closures. We had one day when our internet was out, and so we put no Wi-Fi on the sign, and that really helped people make appropriate plans. This was a major project, took many months, and was wonderfully led by Mara Robleski. She really shepherded us through a very complicated process, and it was well worth it in the end. So we are truly appreciative for all of Mara's efforts.
Thank you so much.
Yep. And finally, they have just purchased some wind sculptures for us. You can see these are what they're going to look like. They move when the wind blows. They're going to be installed right outside the entrance of the library. If you're familiar, there's a landscaped area to the left, and that's where they're going to go. So they'll be visible both from inside the building and for visitors as they're walking up. So those are just a few of the fabulous things our Friends have done for us. We truly appreciate them, all of the help and support they give our library. We could not do what we do without them. So thank you to our Friends.
Thank you, Katie. Appreciate everything you do for our community.
Thank you, Friends of the Library, and Mara, for your work on that project. Okay, next we have a presentation of survey results from the Madison Police Citizens Advisory Committee. Ms. Denzine is the liaison for that committee, but could not be here tonight. So please come forward. Anyone from the Police Citizens Advisory Committee?
It'll be me. Of course, I have several colleagues here. Members of council, I appreciate this opportunity. My name is Yechin Bao, a professor of marketing from UH. But more importantly, I'm a resident of Madison for close to 20 years, and also a member on the Madison Police Citizen Advisory Committee, representing District 5, and together with me, several other colleagues, Rebecca, Mark, and Bob, Billy, and Rajiv. And we're very glad to provide a report of the survey that the committee conducted earlier this year. Oh, I guess. So the survey we started, the planning was literally took quite a while, started last year, and then eventually in conjunction with the Madison Police Department, particularly with the help with Chief Gandhi. We conducted a survey in about a month from February 10th to the March 10th. And with zero budget, we had to be a bit creative to reach the citizens of the city. So we contacted the PTAs, HOAs, and then we placed flyers in grocery stores, City Hall, the entrance of City Hall, and Dublin Park. Further, of course, we also posted the link and website, social media, different social media groups, Facebooks, and particularly Rebecca's done a great job and spent a lot of effort in her. So ultimately, we're very proud that we collected close to 200, literally 195 responses. I'm sure that many in the audience probably have seen that survey and filled out, and we appreciate that. So of the 195 responses we received, that with the background of those respondents, that roughly 87% are 40 years and above in terms of age, and then roughly half are male and a female a little bit over male, but pretty close. And further, in terms of property types that the residents are in, that the respondents represent most from residing in individual homes, and with a few respondents from apartments, condos, and townhomes, which is not surprising in the sense that Madison City, the vast majority are in the individual homes. And racial background-wise, that the vast majority, about 87% are white, indicated as white, and then with others spread between Asian, African American, Hispanic, and others. And that is approximately as what we have in Madison. Although, I guess specific is probably a little bit racial, we probably even more diverse than what we have here. But again, with the zero budget dollar, that we're pretty happy that we collected 195 respondents and see a pretty breadth of the respondents. Now the results, that given Madison is one of the best places to live in the country, certainly we kind of expect the result to be pretty positive. But on the other hand, I've got to catch what's happening in the city, and we want to see literally whether it's really the case and updated the results. So in the survey, we asked 9 questions. It's more quantitative per se, on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 meaning people strongly agree with the statement, and then to 5 meaning 5 where people strongly disagree with the statement. And further, we do have 4 questions that's more open-ended for anybody who have concerns that they could write down. So I'm going to present you the results of those more quantitative questions first. As you see, this survey is more about the crime or safety and any concerns about the community. So the first question is, crime is generally a problem in my neighborhood. And you'll see that the vast majority of respondents responded as 3 and above. Basically means people don't feel much. 3 is neutral, right? And 4 is disagreement, meaning I don't agree with that statement. And basically means that people don't feel that there's much crime issue. And strongly disagree, everybody would understand that's not an issue at all. So the first question, second question, very similar, the vast majority. When I say vast majority, it's literally close to 90%, rather than say only above 50%. So more than 90% of people would just say, no, I don't feel crime as a problem at all, be it in the daytime or at the nighttime, as a question through you asked there, that I often avoid going out during the nighttime because I'm afraid of crime. Again, that's verified. People don't see that as an issue at all. And then the fourth question is, there's a good chance that I will be a victim of the property crime, such as theft or burglary, or questions such as, there is a good chance that I will be a victim of a violent crime, either assault or robbery, rape, any of the issues that in the predictable future. Or next is whether guns are a problem in my neighborhood. You can see the pattern of response is very similar. The vast majority say it's not an issue. And then you have, of course, a few, that 5, 6 of the respondents say, well, I can have some concerns. And then the next question related to drugs, that whether people see drugs as an issue. Again, it's very similar, that vast majority don't see as an issue. And the last two questions as well, I'm more afraid of a crime now than I have been. Nope, no, people don't see that at all. Two more questions more related. You see the pattern shifted. That is, well, now is more on the agreement side. Well, because we asked the other way, that we asked people to assess that whether they think the Madison Police Department does a good job of making Madison as a safe place, and further whether people feel that this community overall have a good relationship with the police department. And you see that the vast majority, again, this is more than 90% consider the Madison Police being doing a great job, right? So as I said, well, this is kind of not surprising as we expect of Madison, a place, a community, one of the best places to live in the country. Then on this next, we looked at it, so we conducted some correlation on that, trying to see whether one factor is linked to another. Particularly, we looked at people's concerns about guns, drugs, and then overall about crime versus their perception of the relationship with the police department. And this is a bit, I guess, on the statistical jargon side, that you see the last column at two of the three numbers have an asterisk that means there's a statistic significant. And then the first one, the gun, question 6, that is non-significant. What that means basically, people's concerns about the guns are not much related to the perception of the police, the relationship with the police. Basically means police probably doesn't have much control of the guns compared to, say, drugs or overall crime, which is, well, when people feel that we have a good relation with the police, they have less concern for the drug issues. They have less concern for overall crime in the community issues. So that seems to make sense in a sense that, overall our police departments have been doing a great job. But in terms of gun control, now that's not just us nationwide, as we're still trying to find a better solution. And now, we do have a few open-ended questions. I said that we asked the people, those particular 5 or 6 who have concerns, what concern they have. That's an open-ended question that they could write down. The questions such as that, are there any problem in the community? If so, please specify. Or if you feel that the police department, we do not have a nice relation with the police department, and specify the issues. And based on that, not all people wrote down anything, because many probably don't have any much concern, right? And then for those we do, we conducted we call it textual analysis. It's just conducted based on what the people wrote down, what are the issues that are surfacing up. So this is the result. Basically, it's the word clouding result, just showing that you see the words that are larger, basically, I mean, those more people mention those words, right? Those small ones, that's not a few people mentioning it. And then from statistics perspective, only those large percent of people who mention the content will be kind of valid. So vast majority, as you could see, the road, speeding, traffic issues, stop signs, mostly related to traffic. And as we all know, that well, on one hand, we're very glad that the community has been growing. Right? On the other hand, of course, it brought issues. And most literally all related to traffic, specifically about 54 people mentioned the issue related to traffic. So those are the issues. Of course, we hope leaving to the council, you'll have better solutions. Right? And now I'm open for questions or comments from audience.
Okay, Counselor, do you have any questions of Dr. Bauer or the MPCAC?
I'll just say you've taken me back to my marketing research class at the University of West Florida. Thank you so much for all the work that you've done, and Mr. Friel is over here as well. Very much appreciate your volunteer service to the MCPAC, and thank you very much for the survey results.
Thank you. It's literally the committee's work and not just me.
So would the members of the MPCAC stand so we can thank you for your service? Thank you, Dr. Val.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Okay, we're going to now get the Madison Utilities presentation up, and in the meantime, Ms. Thomas, could I go ahead and have the cards that have been submitted to you? If you walked in late and you have a comment about Madison Utilities or fluoridating water, please fill out a comment card and you will get to speak first, and hand those over to Ms. Thomas at the clerk's desk. And I'm going to go ahead and take the ones you've got. If you haven't had a chance to fill out a card, you still have time to do that, and I'll sort through. And if you have other comments, we will hear those, but we'll let Madison Utilities comments go first. Okay, and now we have Mr. Moore. Okay.
Thank you, council members, for allowing us to come and comment tonight. My name is David Moore. I'm the water manager for Madison Utilities. At the board meeting on 3/17, there was a decision made to discontinue fluoridation for the city of Madison water supply. This does not take the fluoride out of the water. It just does not add additional fluoride to the water. The natural fluoride will still be in the water. This decision was not made lightly. It was made based upon structural problems, degradation. It was made on employee health concerns. And during the process of upgrading, you'll see some pictures, during the process of upgrading and going through an upgrade at one of the water treatment facilities here in Madison, it was seen that there was some very heavy, costly damage because of fluoridation, the corrosiveness, and because of this chemical. So the costs come in at just shy of $500,000 to upgrade the facility with the correct things needed and to upgrade. And if you'll go through the slides, that's a basically destroyed electrical panel. This is concrete that is destroyed. There's half a paint can, and this isn't from the liquid, this is just from the fumes of that liquid, even though it is in a ventilated type area. This is just from the fumes. There's another piece that's rusted out. So, as I say, the decision was not made lightly, but based upon other states banning fluoride and other systems across North Alabama, discontinuing the addition of fluoride chemicals, the board made the decision unanimously to discontinue fluoridation.
Okay, was your...
That's it.
That's your
Yes, ma'am.
presentation? Okay. We're going to open it up for questions by council. Let me also tell you that this will go a little faster if y'all could stop clapping so we can move forward. What we're going to do is we're going to let the council ask questions, and then we will move into public comments at the conclusion of this presentation and Q&A. First, I think I should go ahead and point out that this was a decision by the Madison Utilities Board. We have one council member who sits on that board. She's not able to be here tonight. She has asked people to email her after they hear this presentation so they have the information that the Madison Utilities Board had at the time that they made the decision, but after they get to hear from you and hear your answers to the questions. Could I ask you to first start by explaining the service area for Madison Utilities? It's not just the city limits of Madison.
The city limits of Madison into Limestone County and Madison County.
And how far into Madison County? What areas are you covering?
Oh, I don't know the exact roads.
The majority of that is in the farm
Yeah.
area, wholesale water in the Huntsville, wholesale water in the Harvest,
Okay. Okay, so that decision will affect that geographic region. I'm going to open it up for council to ask any questions that you may have. I have a few, but I'm happy to defer to you.
I just have one off the top of my head. What other systems in North Alabama have discontinued fluoride?
Russellville, Arab, and my understanding, Limestone County Water does not add fluoride.
Limestone never did, or you're just saying
Never did.
they're not going to, they never did? Okay. Mr. Moore, prior to the March 17th MU board meeting, how much notice did you provide the board about your recommendation to stop fluoridating the water?
It wasn't my recommendation. It had come up prior to me being there. I came in January, and some of this project was in going. Some of this project to do the plant was going on as I came in. And so I was able to kind of see that. And then as I took over, that it kind of all came to light then.
So when you put an agenda out, for example, we post our agendas Thursday afternoon before the Monday
I
meeting.
wasn't here before January.
But, but this was a March 17th meeting, right?
That came out on the March 17th meeting, correct?
So how much in advance does the board get your agenda to know this is coming up?
The Friday before.
The Friday before. And was the public notified that you were going to be discussing stopping fluoridating water?
As per state law, the public has to be, or the state health officer has to be notified, and everything has to happen before. The state health officer has to be notified 90 days before. The state fluoridation coordinator and the health department, so they were notified, and then it went into the public record, and they were notified 60 days before the end, or before discontinuation of fluoride.
Did you have any members of the public attend your meeting?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you share with the Madison Utilities Board that the Alabama Department of Public Health recommends fluoridating water?
They are aware.
They were aware? You shared it with them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you inform the Madison Utilities Board that the Big Ten municipalities in Alabama, including Madison, all fluoridate their water?
No, ma'am.
Before making your recommendation, did your office inquire how the other cities and counties that are able to safely fluoridate water address the concerns that you presented to the board?
That was addressed, and it came out in a report that give the almost $500,000 cost.
So Huntsville and Decatur and Dothan and
Well, that was addressed
Montgomery?
through an engineering firm, and they're the ones that come up with the cost.
After the MU board decision upon your recommendation, who did you inform at the city of Madison about this decision?
Ms. Spears?
Well, she was there, but I'm talking
Yes.
about the mayor's office, the city council, city administrator. Anybody know that y'all had done that?
No, ma'am. We didn't inform anybody.
Mr. DeBoer, did anybody tell us? Okay. So the first time I heard about this was reading the story on WFF Friday night. 2 weeks ago, WHNT did a story on fluoridating water, and Huntsville Utilities indicated that they still fluoridate water for its service area. Was there any discussion at the March 17th MU meeting about neighboring water systems and how they address this issue?
Yes, there was some.
So do you have any knowledge or information that Huntsville or Decatur are about to change?
Not that I know of.
Has anyone at MU consulted with a dentist before making this recommendation?
No, ma'am.
Does the public have a way to comment to the MU board about this decision before it goes into effect?
They can come and comment at the first board meeting, and that would be May the 5th, I believe.
Okay,
It'd be
I
the
think
first
we have
Monday.
a slide about the upcoming Madison Utilities board meeting. And so that would be the appropriate place for members of the public to talk to the board that would make that decision.
Correct.
Is it already a final decision, or are you soliciting comment and feedback?
This is set to be finalized June the 16th.
So you've already decided to do this?
This has went to the state and set to be finalized June the 16th.
Can the decision be reconsidered by the board?
That would be a question for the board.
Okay. Those are my questions for now. Anyone else have a question?
Nailed it.
Okay.
I do have one. So I heard you guys said, I think you said you wholesale water to Huntsville and other places. Is that going to change? I mean, if they're going to be accepting that same water, I mean, has Huntsville or anybody else brought an issue to you?
No, sir.
I'd also heard that another consideration was that the cost of fluoridating the water was $14,000 a year. Pardon me, a drop in the bucket.
That was not a consideration in the change of fluoridation.
Okay.
That was a question that was asked to me, and somehow the media got that wrong. But
Okay. But you've been fluoridating the water for 30 years, right? I mean,
91.
since 91. So, I mean, this has been a situation for many years. It seems like it's just come to light that, you know, we've got to stop the presses, and I would like to have people have the opportunity to have input. So I would just respectfully request that, you know, you not make that decision for June in April before everyone has an opportunity to either email, call, and for sure come to the May meeting.
Mr. Moore, thank you very much for your presentation and coming here tonight. As I mentioned before, if you have not had a chance to fill out a comment card and you want to make a comment about this decision, please turn that into Ms. Thomas up front, and you will get to speak first before others who have other general comments about our agenda or other matters that the council will be taking up. And thank you to Mr. DeBoer and Mr. Moore for staying here during this portion of the comments. I would also like to ask that if any of you are speaking on behalf of a group of people, feel free to let a spokesperson speak on behalf of the group. We'll let you stand to say, yeah, this is, but I'd like to ask you not to clap because we're going to, I think, hear both sides and get comments, and we want to be respectful to each other as we do that. So, Lisa, if you've got some more comment cards, and we're going to start with Mr. Tim Holcomb.
Tim Holcomb, 215 Walden Glen Road, District 1. I used to sit up there with you guys, and I was once the liaison to the Water Board and actually did attend the Water Board meetings as well as I was the liaison to the school board. And after each meeting, I'd write a recap and send it out to the city council and let them know what happened. In reading through the minutes of the meeting of this Water Board meeting, there was nobody in attendance from the public. And of course, the city council person that is on the water board was there. I'm not really going to argue the merits for or against, but a quick Google search revealed that about 75% of all water systems in the United States add fluoride to their water. That represents about 82% of the total population. I'll leave it to the experts to argue the pros and cons, but looking at the parts per million that are actually added here, that's a very, very low amount. My biggest issue was the way it was done. No public input, nobody knew anything about it, and all of a sudden it just hit social media and people are going, what? And we have been fluoridating our water for what now, 35, 37 years? This is the most egregious decision just out of nowhere that I can think of, and that would be my comments. I'll let others argue, but again, as rapidly as this went through, that certainly shouldn't happen here. You guys need to seriously look at who you're appointing to the water board in the future. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holcomb. And I should mention, Mr. Holcomb knows this since he used to sit up here when you come forward. Please state the district that you live in Madison, or if you live outside of Madison, just let us know that and where you live. The next person who's turning a comment card is Kathy Patrick.
Thought I'd be closer to the bottom. Hi, my name is Kathy Patrick. I am in District 6, Karen's district. I live in Stavemill Estates. And I did send in an email. I just want to say that I appreciate the water manager, Mr. Moore, and the board for what they did. I work at a chemical plant, and we have corrosive chemicals, and I've seen switchgear. I mean, that's electrical stuff that's eat up. There's no telling what kind of piping you guys had to replace and the expense. So I didn't really hear any questions about, 500, you said $500,000. That's a lot if we're going to continue to fluoridate. And so I think they made a good decision. There's a big history of fluoridation going back. I think that people started lobbying for it in the 50s, 40s, 50s. It got brought up in the 90s as a concern. People started getting concerned about it. And so what's going on today is the EPA, if you go to the EPA's website, their maximum recommended level is 4 milligrams per liter, which is what we're adding. The recommended limit by the HHS for preventing tooth decay is less than 25% of that amount. It's 0.7 milligrams per liter. So, but there's been new studies that have come out. Fluoride is very readily available in toothpaste. It's actually hard to find a toothpaste that does not have fluoride in it. Studies have shown that topically, fluoride is very effective, and that's why you go to the dentist and they give you a rinse and they tell you to spit it out. They don't tell you to swallow it. Fluoride is considered a neurotoxin. It's not, this chemical that they're putting in the water supply is not regulated by the FDA. It's regulated by the EPA as an environmental pollutant. So another thing just on the health aspect is that last year, all we really heard a lot about mental health crisis. There's mental health crisis in this country, and we're questioning somebody's decision to remove a neurotoxin from our water supply because we're worried about cavities. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Again, I appreciate the board. I know they probably had the health concerns in the back, but their real big health concern was the health of the employees that work for the utilities, is my understanding.
Thank you, Ms. Patrick. You're out of time. Brian Beitel.
Thank you for letting me come. My name is Brian Beitel. I'm a pediatric dentist, and I practice in Huntsville.
And where do you live?
Live in Huntsville.
You live in Huntsville. Okay, thank
Out
you.
of the area. However, I did have a practice in Madison for a few years, which I sold it to a friend's son who's also a pediatric dentist who now has it in Madison. I really don't represent anybody. I just wanted to give you a perspective from someone who has been in practices in non-fluoridated areas. For starters, in our area, we, for instance, a close friend of mine, I visited his practice just a few years ago, practiced in Fort Smith, Arkansas, right next to Oklahoma, which had no fluoride in the water in the area. So I went to visit him for a couple of days just to see what was going on, because I know he had a great practice. And I might sedate 2 patients a month. He sedated 6 to 8 a day. And this is just from the amount of decay coming in. I asked him what was going on. He goes, remember everything they taught you in dental school in our residency? He said, assume nothing. He said, I have to take x-rays every 6 months on these children. He says, otherwise I miss things. If I see a little cavity on something, we always have a Kerry's risk index, which determines how we're going to treat teeth. One of the things is fluoridated area, non-fluoridated area. We have to treat much more aggressively in non-fluoridated areas. So he was putting stainless steel crowns on anything and everything, and he said he still couldn't keep up with it. He had no time to, and this is a guy who was seeing over 120 patients a day, had no time to sit and talk and work on preventive care at home, et cetera, trying to get to so many different things. So back to where we are here. I might sedate 1 or 2 patients a month. There are certain, even with all the sedation courses, emergency dental practice and dental office courses I've taken, I still feel it's much safer to treat children in the OR, where you've got CRNAs and anesthetists that have been doing this, in the emergency room and for many, many years. Still, with all my training, I feel like that's a much safer thing. So I don't really want to get to the point that we're doing so many more sedation practices in the office. The state is already clamping down on us with that. We've already got about a 10-month waiting list to get into the OR. The hospitals are going away from us, going to the OR instead of, they're trying to give more OR time to orthopedics as if that brings them in more money than us that are just taking care of teeth. So I see I have 15 seconds left. Bottom line is, it is a proven fact that all the fluoridated areas have much less issues with decay. I really am very sympathetic to the folks that have, that work in the areas. We don't want any.
Thank you, Dr. Vital.
Thank you very much.
I think we have
I'm
your
sorry.
comment. Thank you. Next is Mike Gillibo.
I'm Mike Gillibo. Thank you for amazingly getting the pronunciation right. Is that
And
what
you live in what district?
District 2.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we've been in Madison since 1962. I'd just like to emphasize what I think you pretty much nailed, that we need to have some kind of public discussion and vote. There are costs on both sides of this. There are risks on both sides. They presented one, but not the other. The people who are paying those costs, namely the citizens of Madison, should have the vote on this and make the decision, whether it's an open vote or city council. They cited a cost of $500,000, which is certainly a lot of money. The ADA says that if you take the fluoride out, you'll have 25% more cavities, city of 50,000. That's millions of dollars every year, cost that is transferred from the Madison Water Board to the Madison cities. I'd like us all to have a vote in that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Next is, I'm going to go ahead and let you bring it. Do you have a couple more cards? And we'll ask David Hergenroder to approach.
Yeah, David Hergenroder, 125 Cope Ridge Lane, District 7. And I totally agree with most of what's been said here tonight on both sides. I'm not sure the decisions, and I wasn't there, so I don't know, but what was presented today does not give enough information to justify a decision. $500,000 every year, every 10 years, how long does that equipment last when it has fluoride going through it? That'd be the question you all need to know. Because as you just heard, this is not a cost savings, this is a cost transfer. The amount of money that's being paid by citizens in Madison to the water board or to the water utilities is just going to be paid to dentists or to get fluoride treatments. And those are relatively expensive. And I think it's going to cost more. Even if it's $50,000 a year with 60,000 people, it comes out to about $8 per person a year. And to get supplements for fluoride and that sort of thing, and fluoride treatments, somebody came up and said, dentists give fluoride treatments and rinses. They don't give anything. With all due respect to the dentist, they don't give anything. I mean, you pay for it. So the cost is a transfer, and we need to take a look at that. And I totally endorse the thought that it ought to be on the ballot. This is something that's going to affect every citizen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hergenroder. And you're in District 7. Okay, Dr. Jim Hatcher.
Hello, I'm Dr. Jim Hatcher. I'm in District 8, just barely. I mean, 5, just barely in District 8, so I think you'll still claim me, hopefully. So I've moved here in 1990, and so I was in on the first discussion in 1991 about fluoride, and had a chance to speak then. There was another discussion at the utility in 2014 also, and I was able to discuss at that time the benefits of fluoride in the water, and I still feel the same way. My son luckily was born in 1991, my family 91, 93, and 97. So they all grew up in Madison with the benefit of having fluoride in the water. And to this day, there's one cavity among all three of them. And so and that's great for me as them growing up. I didn't have to pay for much dental care, but it's also great for their students who were in their classes that don't have the means that I had. The benefits of fluoride don't discriminate. It's a benefit for everybody that drinks the water. It doesn't discriminate. But the ravages of dental caries does discriminate. If someone doesn't have the benefit of having fluoride in the water, then that dental care for somebody who is less advantaged is going to be sometimes you can't afford it. So the benefits are way outshine the detriments to that. So another thing, someone talked about neurotoxins. So glutamate is a naturally occurring amino acid in the body, and it's also a neurotoxin. Nitric oxide is a naturally occurring compound in the body. It's also a neurotoxin also. Alcohol, like a Budweiser, alcohol, it's a neurotoxin also. Water, you can have water poisoning that can cause death. Advil is, and Tylenol are both hepatotoxins. They're toxic to the liver. So all these things can be toxins if they're not used properly, if it's not the right dosage. I'm sure that the used in the proper dosage, Advil's great, Tylenol's great. Someone said one time that no good comes from drinking alcohol, but that's a different subject. But then fluoride also is safe and effective. It's something that has really made a difference. It's been called the greatest public health victory ever, is putting fluoride in the water. And like I said, it's across the board, socioeconomically. It just helps everyone. And so, of course, I strongly endorse that, and hopefully we will get a chance to
Thank you,
to vote
Dr.
on it.
Hatcher.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hatcher.
The next person is Karen Thornton.
Sure would hate to be that one son.
Hello, my name is Karen Thornton. I live in Pebblebrook, so in your district, ma'am, District 5. And we moved to Madison City a couple of years ago for the better schools, the better living, for a better place to live that would help my family altogether. So what I'm concerned about is the representative from the Water Board provided us no data tonight about whether or not fluoride is damaging his facility. He showed us a few photos of rust in a water treatment facility with, water, which, corrodes metal. I'm not convinced. Now, I'm concerned that this is just a cover for something that is something much worse, that he's believing the internet lies, the claims that fluoride is a neurotoxin, that it's evil and wrong, when as we know, in the right dose, anything will kill you. And in the wrong dose, anything will kill you, but in the right dose, it can save your life. And the CDC, Alabama Department of Public Health have both shown lots of studies with lots of data, check the real science, that this is something that is beneficial to everybody in the city of Madison, whether they are rich or poor, whether their parents care enough about them to drag them to the dentist twice a year or not, or whether they can afford to go to the dentist twice a year or not. So this is something that would help, as our previous person commented, it will help everyone here. And I would love to see this on the ballot so that everybody can make an informed decision, and that I don't appreciate that the Water Board would try to make this decision basically in the middle of the night by not telling anybody It is highly unprofessional, and I expect more from the city of Madison. I'm done.
Thank you. Next is Melanie Stoner.
Hi, I'm Melanie Stoner, and I have a Madison address, but I live outside of the city limits. So we heard tonight that the main reason for this decision was the corrosiveness of fluoride to the water plant. I'd just like to read something. This is from an NIH document on fluoridation practices. The question is, does fluoride at levels used in water fluoridation corrode glass, concrete, or other services in water plants? The answer is no. A correctly engineered and maintained system will not result in damage to the water plant. If a water system is reporting problems with corrosion from evaporating hydrogen fluoride in the storage room or fluoride handling room, the system is being inadequately maintained. So I think that is what needs to be addressed by the water system. I'm also here as a senior scientist. I work at the Hudson Alpha Institute for Biotechnology. I'd like to reiterate what others have said tonight, that fluoride is not toxic at the doses, at the levels that is present in our water system. We have decades, literally decades of research and data that support that it is perfectly safe. It's estimated that for every $1 invested in fluoride in drinking water, communities save $20 by preventing cavities and downstream harms. The CDC named fluoridation of public drinking water one of the 10 great public health achievements in the 20th century, and it remains a powerful tool to reduce health disparities among our nation's youth. It is safe, effective, saves money for families, and is so important for the health of the city's most vulnerable citizens. I hope that this decision is not final, and I hope that the residents of Madison will have a say in this decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stoner. Next is Mr. Cabot.
For starters, I'd like to thank the council members for responding so promptly last evening when I emailed you about this matter. I'm not in District 1 at the moment, but I guess I will be after the rezoning, so I'm in District 2 currently.
District 2, thank you.
So I have a prepared statement, but a lot of people have already said a lot of what's on here. So my name is Brock Cabot. I live on the east side of Heritage Plantation. To echo the cost savings, it looks like that the estimate from the CDC, and then there was a Health Affairs Journal article I read that the 20-to-1 showed up, but also that it saves each constituent roughly $32 a year in dental costs. So on the City of Madison's page, it said we currently have around 60 to 61,000 residents. So just taking those two together, that's well over $2 million of savings a year. So heard that $500,000 is certainly a lot, but amortized over a long period of time, that math certainly works out to me in terms of savings to our populace. I have a 16-month-old daughter, so she doesn't like her teeth to be brushed, right? We try, but it's like a snake wiggling around. So the idea that toothpaste is a solution when she gets older, that might be a little bit easier to enforce, but right now, that's just not an option. And so fluoridation of the water, that's an easy, safe, effective way to make sure she doesn't end up with cavities and end up at the pediatric dentist as much as she also loves going there. So I would just endorse that there are groups of the population that toothpaste is not an effective option because they're wild toddlers and they just will not accept it. In addition, in regards to the risk from the acid, our city prides itself on being home to a bevy of science-minded families. A lot of us work on the arsenal. I feel like we could come up with a safe and effective way to administer this chemical. Perhaps the levels need to be adjusted, if we're high. But I think that's something we can have a nuanced discussion on instead of just an outright elimination. And then finally, I feel I'd be remiss if I didn't critique the way this policy was enacted, similarly to have some other folks have spoken. From what I can gather from the meeting minutes, it was started and finished in the span of a single Madison Utilities Board meeting that lasted 40 minutes, which there were other agenda items on there. All the agenda said was chemical feed discussion, no allusion to what exactly was going to be discussed. So even if the public had looked at the agenda, no clear answer on what was being talked about. So how could we have known it was discussed? And how could 40 minutes be enough time to properly consider the scope and gravity of a decision like this that affects the entirety of the city population? Not only this, but it feels that as immediately as the decision was made, they moved out on the timeline to eliminate it entirely at the exact bottom limit of the timeline. So 90 days from March 17th is roughly June 16th. So no period of public comment, just an absolute, we're taking it out, we're going to do it as soon as we possibly can. So regardless of whether or not we should or should not have fluoride, this action feels unprofessional and the opposite of transparency. And so I would expect better from the folks at Madison Utilities. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Cabot.
Mr. Cabot.
Do we have some more cards? Lacey, do you want to filter up here? And we will ask Rachel Homolak to come forward.
Rachel Homolak, District 4. I'm here to express my gratitude to the city for removing the fluoride from the water. Not necessarily because I believe that fluoride in the water is harmful or not, but because it gives the citizens of Madison City the choice to choose what they would like to put in their bodies and their children's bodies. I worked in the dental field for over 13 years, pediatrics specifically. I was also an educator in the dental field for 7 of those 13 years, so my opinion matters, just like some others have been here. I'd also like to mention that I worked in a super hippie liberal state that had areas with and without fluoride. And with that said, I still hold my professional position that it should be out of the water so that people can simply choose. There are numerous ways to access fluoride for dental health if it's that important to a person or a parent. Taking the fluoride out of the water does not rob anyone from having access to it. Honestly, parents just need to brush floss their kids' teeth. That's really what it boils down to. And no one is stopping people from starting organizations to provide fluoride to the community for free if it's that important to them. So I do have a question for the dentists that are in the room right now that were recruited to come tonight. If everybody's had fluoride in the water since 1991, how are you in business? If you believe fluoride is so amazing, how are you still making money then? Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on is the wildly inappropriate behavior of a city council member taking to social media to recruit people to speak here, pushing their personal stance on this issue. I don't care if a city council member posts something publicly about an issue encouraging all to participate, no matter your stance. It's when you have a clear bias and opinion on said issue, and you push that on the community, including hurling insults towards people that disagree with you. That's what I have a problem with. If you're on the city council, you represent everyone in the community, and you do what's best for everybody in the community, putting aside your own political bias and your thoughts on RFK. You may not agree with everyone, but this is a conflict of interest to say the least, if not an ethical violation in her position on the council. This is not the first time she has pulled stunts like this. So it needs to stop. If you want to post something privately within your own circles, go for it. Don't put it on a neutral, public social media forum. Let's have a little tact when we're serving the community, okay?
Ms. Homolak, did I miss your district? 4, thank you. Okay, next is Robin Gramillion. I'm not sure if I'm reading your name right. Feel free to correct me.
I'm Robin Grimion. I'm in District 6, right over here, just behind Jack's, right there. We've lived in Madison for almost 30 years now. Some of you may remember me from 2012. My husband and I petitioned the water board at that time to remove fluoride. We spent several months presenting lots of evidence of why it was toxic, why it was not a good idea to mass medicate the public without their consent. In the end, the result was they did reduce the fluoridation levels from the 1.0 milligrams per liter down to the recently changed recommendation of 0.7. So at least that much was accomplished. In the meantime, since then, my husband and I have always used fluoride filters in our house, so we have been fluoride-free for 14 years now, and no cavities. My kids, us, no problems, okay? The first cavity I had was 3 months ago, and that was on a tooth that was already weakened from way, 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 way before. They had watched it for a long time. So anyway, I would like to applaud the Madison Water Board for taking this step. I think it's absolutely the right step to do. And I know I'm running short on time, so I'm going to go pretty quick here. Just starting off the top, people keep referencing the science. Nobody has mentioned the National Institute of Health report that came out within the last few months that did verify. It was a several-year report studied across multiple studies from multiple different institutes that said, yes, fluoride is a neurotoxin at the 0.7 level currently prescribed. Absolutely. And a federal judge just last month ruled that, yes, the EPA has to take action on this, and it has to do it now. It cannot ignore this anymore. It is a neurotoxin. What these studies showed is that children have a reduction of 6 IQ points when they live in fluoridated areas versus those in non-fluoridated. And there's just no safety of margin to account for this at the current levels. Real quickly, that's the latest science. What I briefed 10 years ago was a top 10 facts about fluoride. 97% of Western Europe has chosen fluoride-free water because they believe individuals have the right to choose. Governments should not be mass medication of the population. Fluoride is the only chemical added to drinking water for the purpose of medication. Chlorine, other thing, that's for the safety. Fluoride is being used as a drug. They talked about, well, maybe Advil is toxic. Well, do you want Advil in your water where you can't control the dosage, where you don't even know how much you're getting or not getting, and for a lifetime? Think about that. I'm running out of time here. There's minimal benefits when swallowed. Even the ADA, 20 years ago, advised parents they should avoid giving babies fluoridated water because they knew back then it was toxic. There's risk to the thyroid gland. That's a big one. Who's overweight? Who's tired? Who's had cancer? Look up thyroid fluoride, and you'll be surprised. Everything going on in our society since this has been implemented. And it should not be a vote because it is mass medication without consent.
Thank you, Ms. Grimmer.
Thank you so much.
Casey Peterson.
Hi, good evening. My name is Casey Peterson, District 6, and I'm an engineer and originally moved to Madison when I was 4 years old. I'm disappointed in the decision to stop adding fluoride to our water. The CDC, ADA, and other public health authorities support the Public Health Service's optimal community water fluoridation at 0.7 parts per million. Madison's reason for changing the water is money. Children's teeth rotting will also be expensive and most negatively impact poor people. Other communities have made changes to their water source and what's added to it due to money, and that has resulted in detrimental effects. So we have Madison's slogan here saying to plant your roots, and I think who would want to do that in a community that ignores the health experts to save a little money at the expense of the community? I know that fellow engineers, scientists, and high-wage earners will move to communities that have fluorinated water over Madison. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Next is, I think it's Rick Makowski, if I'm reading this right.
Hello, Rick Makowski, District 7. From the recent news report, the dangers and precautions of handling fluoride that Mr. Moore presented are very significant. It's a lot more than just those pictures that he had up there. It's also how his employees have to handle and be careful with handling that chemical. This should be a clue to the dangers of the chemical in our bodies. It should have been stopped many years ago for the health reasons alone, though now driven by economic ones. The idea that it is a low dose, so therefore it is safe, ignores the cumulative effect on our health. If you want another reason, take a look at the label of toothpaste product with fluoride. It clearly states on a tube of Crest, warning, keep out of reach of children under 6 years of age. If more than used for brushing, which is defined as the pea size, is accidentally swallowed, get medical help or contact a poison control center right away. Do not swallow. The industry recognizes the dangers as well as the liability of fluoride to our health, hence the warning on these tubes of toothpaste. Not practicing good oral care and eating sweets is a personal responsibility and a choice of the people, and especially parents. What are you feeding your kids? How are you taking care of their oral health care? It is not a responsibility of the city government to solve, especially when there are many studies showing the dangers of fluoride in our diets. If someone wants fluoride for oral care, feel free to buy the many products that contain it. It's a personal choice that people who do not want it and or spend many dollars to filter it out of their drinking water do not currently have that choice. If there are any dentist here or the city speaks on the behalf and support of fluoride in the water, I ask, are you also willing to accept any liability for the future of the health issues that come across? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Donna Ware.
Thank you. My name is Donna Ware. I live at 134 Belmont Place, and I'm a new resident. I think I'm in District 4. I'm not really sure. My first comment is about the legality of this. With just a short amount of time, I looked online and I found the Huntsville City Ordinance mandates fluoride in the water in Huntsville. So if any of this water goes to Huntsville, there might be an issue there. My husband's a lawyer. I have to address that first. I stand before you as an adult who just paid Dr. Paul McIntosh down the road several $1,000s to crown some of my teeth. I grew up as a child in Birmingham in the time when there was no fluoride in the water. My children, one of which is now a Madison resident, a parent, grew up with fluoride in the water. She has beautiful teeth. My grandsons live here in Madison, and it pains me to think that they came here for the wonderful environment, educational opportunities, and community, to find that the water that they will drink will not give them the same protection that their parents had when we grew up and I lived in Trussville. I am sorry there was no notice given because I could actually do a whole lot more research with more time, but it was really quick. I would say if we're having technical problems, fix the problems. We have plenty of engineers in all fields, and I know there's somebody around here who can help this board find out how to fix these issues. Huntsville, and all of the other places that have fluoride systems can help us if we're in desperate need of that, which is what I'm hearing from some of the folks. I would just say get help, and I just am surprised that this has come up because it was totally out of the blue, not what I expected from Madison. We pride ourselves on the opportunities and accomplishments of the children in Madison. They're all smart. The schools are great. That's why we're here. My grandsons have great opportunities, and I don't think it's going to hurt them to drink fluoride in the water, but I think we owe that. We owe it to them to not carry around dental problems because we have agendas or whatever it is. We're not doing what we could do. So I would just implore the board to reconsider this and hopefully get some more input with a little more time. So thanks for the opportunity to address you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Ware. Next is H. Michael Goodman.
I live at 118 Broken Bow Lane, which I believe is in District 5. I've been a resident since 1986. I just want to comment on a couple of things. We heard a cost of $500,000. I'm not sure if that appears to be to repair some of the damage that was done. That's not an annual cost, at least from what I understand. So if you take that $500,000, it's divided by 50,000 people, which live roughly in the city of Madison, you're talking about $10 a person. But now spread that over, what, 5 years, X number of years? So we're talking less than probably $1 a month per person, not even that. So it's a minimal cost when you spread it out over time and over 50,000 people. Now, you also we've heard that Madison is one of the best places in the world, in the United States to live in. One of the reasons why is we're a well-educated population, and we are knowledgeable of things, and so and its cost of living is cheap. So it doesn't make sense now to go against what the CDC and the HHS is recommending. In fact, in 2012, the CDC and the Health and Human Services commended the city of Madison for the water fluoridation. They got a water fluoridation quality award. Another thing I want to comment on is that taking away the fluoridation will negatively impact our children. We've heard from that. But particularly our lower income citizens who may not have the ability and the access to seek dental care, whether it's once a year or twice a year. And then we also heard that, oh, well, your toothpaste is fluoridated. Well, do you know that in order for fluoridation to properly take place, you need to, and I'm reading this right off of the web, should you swish your mouth with water immediately after brushing, which probably 95% of us do, or no, you should not swish your mouth with water immediately after brushing with fluoride toothpaste to maximize the benefits of fluoride. Rinsing water washes away the fluoride, reducing its ability to remineralize your teeth and protect them from decay. Instead, experts recommend spitting out the excess toothpaste and then leaving the remaining toothpaste on your teeth for a period of at least 10 minutes. Who lets toothpaste stay in their mouth for 10 minutes? I guarantee you everyone in this building rinses their mouth right away, so
Mr.
there's no
Goodman,
benefit.
you're out of time. Thank you. Paul Jackson.
Hello, my name is Paul Jackson. I'm from District 6. I want to thank you for holding this forum today. I unfortunately did miss the Water Board's presentation, but that is because I stayed late for work after taking time off today to go to the dentist to get my biannual tooth cleaning. My wife and I just moved into Madison only a few months ago, and one of the main reasons why we made the move is because we are expecting our first child this summer. As such, we wanted to move somewhere that was more in line with what we were looking for in terms of education quality, neighborhoods, that sort of thing. For that reason, I find it very disappointing that we would be removing the fluoride from the drinking water, given that studies have shown time and time again that drinking water with fluoride in it, fluoridated water, prevents tooth decay in children by up to 25%. For adults, things like topical applications through toothpaste, mouthwash, which I use fluoridated mouthwash and toothpaste, is very good at helping to prevent tooth decay once your teeth have already developed. The fluoridated drinking water is very important for children because it's systemic fluoride, so it allows them to use that fluoride in the development of their teeth, which is much more important for children than it is for adults, and especially for children who are developing their permanent teeth. So it's not just a matter of can we brush the children's teeth or floss the children's teeth? Yes, 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 definitely do that. But there are certain things that are outside of control. Anecdotes are one thing we can talk about. I have friends who live in non-fluoridated areas who have good teeth. Some of that comes down to genetics as well. But you can't just ignore the science that has been proven over the last 50 years in this country. Now, the only other thing I really wanted to say is I feel like if this is something that we're going to do, we do need to have a prolonged discussion about it. It should be brought to a public vote. There should be time to research, do our due diligence. If we're doing it, if we're removing it because it's dangerous for the workers in the plant, fine. Let's see the incident reports. I want to see the statistics on what that looks like compared to other areas that fluoridate their water. What about incidents related to chlorine, which we also add to water? Is that vastly different? Should we then remove the chlorine from the water? There's certain things that you need to look at the totality of the system. And all I'm saying is we just need time. If we vote to remove the fluoride, then go with God, I guess. We'll remove the fluoride. But it's been in the water for 50 years, and I don't think a few months of due diligence would really hurt.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Next is Leslie Duncan.
My name is Leslie Duncan. I'm in District 3. I think we've kind of missed the boat that the decision's already been made. They've already notified the state. They've already notified everything. So in order to stop this, because of the time limits by law, we've missed that boat. They've already notified the state. It's going to be coming out in June. Because I don't think anybody has the right to stop it unless we retract all that paperwork. Second of all, if the equipment is bad, like we've seen, how long has that equipment been bad? Why haven't we noticed this last year, the year before? We could have identified some of that equipment that was bad and over time corrected it. Not wait till the last minute and it's $500,000. Okay, I hear everybody's opinion and I respect them, but the decision's already been made. They've already made it. They've notified the state. It's coming off June 16th. So whatever we all decide in here, they have.
We're not going to decide.
We don't have a
I know,
decision,
but
so.
they've already made the decision and they've notified the state. And until they pull that paperwork back, it's coming off in June 16th. You read the law. Once he's notified them, he had to give them 90 days notice.
That's to remove it.
To remove it. And he's already given them that 90 days notice. He has done everything by law, by the books. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Duncan. Okay, sure, and if anybody else has a card, we're running low and we're going to let them go. So if you want to speak on MU, get your cards to Ms. Thomas.
So just so we're perfectly clear and everybody understands, this council right here, we have one job that relates to MU at all, and that is to select one person from up here to be on that board. We don't vote on that board. We can't change that. It's much like the school board. We select people for the school board. They make those decisions. So that's our purview. That's all we can do. We can't change a vote. We can't do any of that. But just want to let everyone know that, so it's perfectly clear. The water board has their own procedures and they have their own meetings as well. So just, I think the meeting was up there. So that's all I wanted to say real quick.
Okay, and we kind of need to move on to the comments. Okay, hold your comments. You'll have your chance. Dr. Yi King Bao.
Yichin Bao, resident of District 5. So I'm surprised to hear this, the water and fluoridation issue. And that reminds me that I'm a member of the Teachers Retirement Society of Alabama, and we have a monthly newsletter from the state. So one time, this was probably a year or 2 years ago, that there was an editorial piece by the surgeon of the state, I believe, and that he was just lamenting, one, showing the water fluoridation level in all the counties in the state of Alabama, and then saying that, well, from his perspective, the investment on fluoridation in the water is the best investment of the state, because $1 of investment in the water fluoridation brings about $100 of savings in dental health in the state of Alabama, comparing all these states, these counties. And I was, of course, at that time, I was pleased to see, well, we are living in Madison, was certainly one of the states that have the water fluoridized. So then hearing this issue, searching the internet, and you certainly see that there are plenty of research showing systemically, of course, I totally echoes many of others' comments that we need to look at it systemically, not just individual. Systemically, you can see the research has constantly shown that the areas that have water fluoridized, of course, it should be at a certain level, versus those that are not fluoridized. The decay level among the population is 50% less. Right? Those literally, that shows the effect of the water fluoridation on dental health. So my comment, or more of the plea to the Madison Utilities board, is that do not act hastily. If you can conduct a third-party study, let's look at the concern on public health. Let's look at the concern on economic savings, cost effectiveness. Then we could decide that whether this will be a right solution or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bao. D. Volkel.
Hello, Dee Vocal, District 6. I'm here mostly just to support the folks that did come up here to say that they're glad the fluoride's out of the water, or that's what's going to happen, I hope. I say hallelujah when I heard about it. I've been putting very expensive filters on my water, trying to filter out this fluoride for 2 decades now, at least. The truth of the matter is, it's not about the fluoride for having good dental care. It's about brushing your teeth, flossing, and staying away from the sweets. That's all there is to it. I particularly can attest to that from my own personal experience. When I started doing that, no more cavities. Even got rid of a gum disease as well. It's not about the fluoride. We've been lied to so much over these years, and we're finding out now all the time that things we thought were true is not true. So again, I am so thrilled. Thank you. I wrote an email to our Madison Utility Board asking them to reduce the fluoride in the water back in January of this year. And of course, they said they're following the guidelines they have to follow. But now, to me, this is wonderful. I'm so thankful. I did a quick survey on the computer about all the information, and I'm not going to go through everything. A lot of people have already talked about the things that I was going to mention. But, hey, I'm glad.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Fogle. And we have 2 cards left on MU. Oh, you've got, sorry. If there's anyone else, because I am going to let them go. And for the record, I'm happy that both sides got to speak tonight, okay? I'm glad that we're getting to share your views. So, okay. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. Heather I can't read the last name. McEwen. I'm so sorry. Okay, you say it in the microphone.
McKeithron.
McEwen?
McKeithron.
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 I'm going to go with Heather.
I'm usually better
Heather
at this. I think I'm getting tired. Okay.
I'm in District 4, I think.
District 4, okay, thank you.
So, I'm sorry, my notes are bad. But first of all, I did want to address a couple things that I would like to think that anybody on either side of this would not agree with the way that it was decided and with the lack of community input. Second, as far as choice, I mean, we're not living on our own little grids. Everybody here is in kind of a social contract with one another. And while I do believe choice is important, I believe that this could really create an inequity. And, people fight to get here. People fight to live in Madison. They come here for children and for the schools and for everything else that it offers. And we're going to widen a gap if we do this. People, even well off, have trouble sometimes with dental costs. And then you're going to, the potential for more problems is there. The questions that I had, I did want to know if this damage shown is from the fumes. Somebody said that it couldn't have been. What's the cost to replace or repair the current setup versus making it safer for continued use? Can we guarantee that this was caused by fluoride? Was everything else isolated? Can we guarantee that the same amount of natural fluoride won't cause similar problems? Was this a buildup or an accumulation of issues since 1991? Or is this recent? I need some more information on that personally. I would want that. But I'm just, it's not even that's the only thing added to the water. That's also been pointed out. I don't see how it could have been isolated. It doesn't appear that any research was done. It appears that a lot of Googling has been happening, but it doesn't appear that any public research experts were involved, public health experts, dental experts, the kinds of things that people would assume or presume that Madison would include in a decision of this magnitude that affects so many people. So those are my questions and my comments, and I am disappointed with how quickly this went and with how it was so easy to just not include people. I don't think that's right, and I don't think that that's what people expect out of Madison, and I think that that's just incredibly disappointing, and that's all.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have 2 cards left. This is it, and then we're going to let the other commenters who want to comment, I have some cards from them, and so everyone else, okay. Tiffany Knox.
Hello, I'm Tiffany Knox. I live in District 1. I've wanted to focus on where we're sourcing our fluoride from, and to point out that the fluoride that we put into our water is actually a chemical byproduct of fertilizer production. It's a hydrofluorosilicic acid, which is different than calcium fluoride, which is what we get from the dentist or from our toothpaste. And it is categorized as a very hazardous substance by the EPA. If we find it in our air, it's a pollutant. If we find it in the river, it's a pollutant. But we put it in our drinking water, perfect. I also want to point out that we have a naturally occurring fluoride at the rates of 0.2 milligrams, which would help our teeth, maybe not as much, but I want the choice. If I want fluoride in my water, I can add it back. I don't like having to filter out my water to protect my children and their IQ. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Knox. And the final water comment is from Michael Sheehy.
Good evening, Mike Sheehy, District 1. I grew up with fluoridated water, and anecdotally, I had about 30 cavities. But then when I was about 10 years old, my parents bought me a toothbrush. I want to give some grace to Mr. Moore, who it appears is new to this position and didn't come here to present a decision brief this evening. He came to give a little bit of information, but the decision was actually made on the 17th of March. Wasn't made by Mr. Moore. It was no doubt informed in part by him, but the decision was made by the board. However, I do share concern about the apparently hasty decision, the lack of a public communication campaign, and the lack of prior coordination with city leaders in Madison and presumably other supported communities. We need to recover from that. This is a significant public interest matter. My initial reaction to the news was surprise and consternation, as I've always heard only of the benefits of fluoridation. However, in fairness, I never heard the adverse considerations, some of which have been presented this evening. There are legitimate arguments on both sides, but it ultimately must come down to not what we think, but to what we know, actual facts, rather than opinions. And maybe, as doctors say when giving us prescriptions, what will ultimately serve our greater good and cause us the least risk. I think we all must remain open to both sides to make legitimately informed decisions. Again, this is not a decision-making forum. We've had a lot of good discussion tonight to inform us, but I believe it would be advantageous for the Water Board and municipal leaders to pause on this action, to regroup, to establish community information forums, and then to revisit the board's decision with fully coordinated and fully informed input. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you, Mr. Sheehy. And I'll just share with the audience, since we have very diverse opinions on this topic, our Madison Council rep on the Madison Utilities Board, Connie Spears, has shared and asked us to share that after you've heard the presentation tonight, if you want to contact her, and if a number of people contact her, she will ask the board to reconsider the decision, and she's empowered to do that. So she wanted me to share that with you, and you can do that with that what you will. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and thank Mr. DeBoer, Mr. Moore, for being here tonight to listen to the comments. We appreciate that very much. We appreciate all of you who took the time to come here so that they could hear your views on both sides of this issue. We're going to let them exit, and I don't know if the reporters need to exit to get any comments from anybody, but we're going to let people who want to exit on the Madison Utilities issue, those officials are going to leave, and we're going to continue with public comments. So I'll let y'all make your way out if you want to, or you can stay. You're invited to stay, whichever you prefer. And we are going to move on the comment cards to Maggie Minsk. Hello.
I will not be talking about the water.
Okay, tell us what district you're in.
I'm District 2. My name is Maggie Minsk, and I'm in District 2.
Okay.
And I spoke last time, and I have similar concerns, and I think my goal is to really just keep these things at the forefront of our attention and to continually just be mindful of them. So I wanted to begin by sincerely recognizing the thoughtful work that this council has done in managing the city's growth, maintaining public safety, and making key decisions that affect the future of Madison. Your leadership, especially in challenging times, matters greatly. I'm speaking tonight because I share your concern for Madison's future, and I'm nervous about the potential impact of several pieces of recent state legislation that have the potential to shape local decisions in ways that touch on education, library access, public discourse, and civil rights protections. There's House Bill 4 that deals with library censorship, LGBTQ+ book bans. House Bill 67 resulted in tiered library access and parental consent for books. Senate Bill 129 is the biological sex bathroom law. Choose Act funds vouchers for private, typically religious schools defunding public education. The SAVE Act, saying that legal ID must match assigned sex at birth. Library obscenity bills will be criminalizing librarians, et cetera, et cetera. So there are some very real concerns that strict compliance to some of these things could at times risk conflicting with the federal Constitution, because the First Amendment protects freedom of speech and access to information. The 14th Amendment guarantees equal protection under the law, and federal non-discrimination rules govern the grants and funding that support many of our public institutions, including libraries, schools, and civic infrastructure. I have every confidence that this council, which has demonstrated careful stewardship so far, will continue to uphold the higher obligations of the Constitution, even as pressure mounts to move in a different direction. And I know that decisions around board appointments, city partnerships, public programming, and et cetera, will be influenced greatly by this state legislation. And again, I just trust that you will continue to lead Madison with the bigger vision in mind. Thank you for your service and your commitment to protecting the rights that belong to all of us, and your careful attention to this important moment in our history. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Minsk. Next, Jeff Bergreen.
I'm Jeff Bergreen. I'm in my properties are in District 2. And I want to talk about, I talked about it in February, but the roadside mowing still ain't getting done out in the western annex portion. It's already waist high right now, even before last week's rain. Wondered about that. And then Powell Road, Bergreen Road, I think is supposed to have a light eventually, my understanding. It needs, on the northwest corner, there's been some trees. I've talked to Public Works numerous times for the last 3 years that need to be cut because it's so dangerous. You can't see if you anything higher than a pickup truck, big truck, farm equipment, you can't see. You have to get out in the intersection. And with the roundabout, detour is very dangerous. And I want to talk about Byers Road and Huntsville Browns Ferry. The northeast corner right there needs to be extended. That's just a narrow road from Bowers to Huntsville Browns Ferry. And it's people, all this construction for the last 3 years, people, and with the roundabout traffic, they can't turn, and it's just getting all on my property. And it needs to be widened regardless. And the only other thing I want to talk about was the sewer. Madison Utilities, I guess it was about a year ago, a Limestone County subdivision about a quarter mile west of Huntsville, Browns Ferry, and Bowers. They took on, I provided service for this Limestone subdivision, and They got a year, the contractor's got a year to come back and fix anything that needs to be addressed before, I guess, a warranty, so to speak. And I've talked to the utilities numerous times in the last 2 months, and they've yet to get the contractor to come back. Now, it may be expired now, but we've got places that wide and that deep that's haven't been fixed on the right-of-way and edges of the fields and stuff. So I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention there.
Okay, and thank you, Mr.
Thank you for your
Bergreen. I've
time.
got District 2 from you, and Ms. Minsk. I will share this with Mrs. Spears, who's not here tonight, and I will put these in her box. So thank you. Okay, anyone else who did not turn in a card have an issue you would like to discuss?
Margie Daly, Karen's district, homeowner 21 years. I was grateful to see so many people come to the meeting, but I'm highly disappointed in the water board that we couldn't have a public meeting on this. I mean, and highly disappointed in council people that solicit for dentists to come to the meeting online, Maura. Very
You
sad.
need to direct your comments to the council and to me, not to individual members.
Okay, yield my time, please, 5 seconds. I'd like to speak on freedom of information and how transparency has been totally lacking from this council, especially you, Renee. You were the council president, you removed our 5 minutes of speaking time, reduced it to 3, and then removed all public hearings from ordinances. We used to have public speaking on both ordinances. But I'd like to speak on sovereign immunity for employees and elected officials, because we don't all have sovereign immunity. I requested a freedom of information. My request for the freedom of information sought to complete the total expenses paid by city tax funds for our 4 council members' accounts payable and purchase cards, which are credit cards. No difference. I received an invoice for $182.39, which was not itemized. And I want to thank the council members that did respond to my email, because several of you didn't bother, but some did. So I do appreciate that. So I asked for the invoice to be itemized because I have the list of the prices we pay for freedom of information. Now, I have dozens that have gone into the city matrix, and I've never gotten a response on these freedom of information. Anyway, when I saw the price was $182 without itemized, I requested an itemized. This is the first invoice I got, Exhibit 1, no itemized. Exhibit 2 is for Roger, who's a department director, a quarter hour of his salary, Westa, $53.84 for 1 hour, and John, 1.5 hours. The third piece of paper I received was an email which states very quickly, not that this is our time. So they're not actually charging me for time, but our time for discussions with you, Megan, Lisa Thomas, and Roger. Freedom of information does not need a discussion. Redactions are not allowed to be charged for, and nor are directors' salaries. So why would they charge me 4 people's salaries? But like I said, they don't have sovereign immunity, so complaints have been gone to the, I've filed complaints with the official organizations that should be filed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Daly. Anyone else like to address the council, please come forward. Seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda and Finance Committee report. Mr. Shaw.
The Finance Committee has reviewed the current and periodic bills to be paid and found everything in order. So with that, I'd like to move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second.
Did much better at that than I did.
There you go.
Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
Ready for vote?
Councilmember Shaw.
Aye.
Councilmember Powell.
Aye.
Councilmember Roblesky.
Aye.
Councilmember Spears. Councilmember Bartlett.
Aye.
Councilmember Denzine. Councilmember Seifert.
Motion passes. Presentation of reports. Let's start with you, District 1.
Yes, and I will say that I absolutely did solicit expert advice because I am not an expert on the topic and I'm not shy to ask for help. So I'm not a professional dentist or in the professional dental care business. So I am grateful for those that did come to speak. I'm grateful for everyone that came to speak. I did want to bring everyone up to date on some promising news. Hopefully we'll be working on for the next few years. This is the Mill Creek Greenway that is part of District 1. That lower left corner is the corner of Balch and Browns Ferry where the dog park is. The subdivision to the left is Foxfield. The subdivision to the right is Oakstone. You can follow the path, and this is also online if you would like to look it up under our GIS maps. Council Member Bartlett and Council President Seifert and I are going to meet with the North Alabama Land Trust on Wednesday to look at the option 2 area, which is going north. That subdivision right up there is Franklin Station. And then again, going from west to east, the option 1, that subdivision to the north is Bridgefield, and the subdivision to the south is Park Meadow. And you can see just to the right-hand side, right where the letter T is, that's Walteriana. So this is something that is high on my radar. It's an elephant, and how do you eat an elephant but one bite at a time? So we're looking at that northeast corner to maybe start with, looking for a natural path, not an asphalt path like you see at Bradford Creek or Indian Springs Greenway, but more of a natural path. The Land Trust is a fabulous partner for us. Very much look forward to working with them, taking a tour. Everyone is welcome to come, and this is just another quality of life amenity for our citizens that I'm very excited about and that you'll hopefully be hearing about over the next few months and hopefully even next few years. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. District 3.
I just want to reiterate the fact that, we're not going to make a decision on the water, but I am grateful that everybody came and we got to hear both sides. And quite honestly, you guys probably know more about it than I do, so, we'll see what comes out of that.
Thank you. District 4.
No new business.
Okay. I've just got a couple of things. I wanted to thank all the volunteers who helped with our first Madison Earth Day celebration Saturday at the Madison Public Library. And then afterwards, there were 19 volunteers who collected over 20 large bags of trash and debris at the New Kensington Drive Rainbow Trailhead. And so there were Bob Jones High School students and other volunteers there. So I want to say thank you to all of them who celebrated Earth Day in that way. I also want to give a shout out to Congressman Dale Strong. We had a James Clemens student who had been accepted to the Air Force Academy, and then the acceptance was withdrawn for a minor health issue, and that's all I'm going to say, but it was very, very minor. And Congressman Strong helped. He took a call from the superintendent, and then I met with his staff member, and he helped with an appeal letter, and they reversed that decision. And he called me today around lunchtime to let me know that this student is now going to the Air Force Academy. He's an outstanding student, and so I was so happy that he was able to help us, and so I want to say thank you to him for doing that. And I think that's all I have, except to remind everyone that next Monday, May 5th, is the next Madison Utilities Board meeting, and that entity is the only entity that can consider the decision that so many came tonight. And I really am appreciative that so many people took this kind of interest to come, to say their piece, whichever side you are on. I have to say that I was very disappointed to hear that that decision was made on March 17th and none of us knew about it. And that's too important a decision to have slipped by without hearing from everyone that's impacted. And then we hope they'll do the right thing as they consider or reconsider. All right, we do not have any board or committee appointments. We do not have any public hearings, so we will move to department reports and the city clerk.
Good evening. We have a first reading tonight, and it's for setting proposed ordinance number 2025-125, setting qualification fees for candidates running for municipal office in the 2025 municipal election to be held on Tuesday, August the 26th, 2025. I will say it's not listed here, the fee's $50. It's always been $50. The last time we read an ordinance on it was in 2020. Thought it was time just to refresh it since it's been 5 years since we had an election. There's an opportunity there if you can't afford the $50. We also have that in place to assist with that filing fee. This is a first reading, and you have the vote on the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Engineering.
Okay, only one item tonight, resolution number 2025-130R. This is acceptance of Greenbrier Hills Phase 5 into the City of Madison Maintenance Program.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion second, any discussion? Ready for a vote?
Can I ask the question? Everything in order?
Thank you.
Councilmember Shaw,
Aye.
Councilmember Powell,
Aye.
Councilmember Bartlett,
Aye.
Councilmember Robleski,
Aye.
Councilmember Spears, Councilmember Denzine, Councilmember Seifert.
And the motion passes.
Do you feel neglected since we didn't ask you the question immediately?
This is great.
HR.
Thank you.
Resolution number 2025-111-R, approving a revised City of Madison Employee Safety Manual. So this is something that has come up to you guys before. This is just a revision. What we have done is the previous one had all the rules for all the departments on how to use this tool or how to back up the truck or whatever. We're taking that and we're putting that back with the departments because if they buy a new piece of equipment, we want them to quickly be able to create their own safety rules without going through this process, which can take a little bit of a time when we want to be able to use it quickly. The other thing that it does is it puts back in some information that was taken out in 2012, things like fire drills and tornado safety, all those different things that were created when y'all did back in August, y'all had Homeland Security come out and do an assessment, so it hits all of their needs for us as well.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? Ready for a vote?
Councilmember Robleski,
Aye.
Councilmember Powell,
Aye.
Councilmember Bartlett,
Aye.
Councilmember Shaw,
Aye.
Councilmember Spears, Councilmember Denzine, Councilmember Seifert.
And the motion passes, and we did have an HR committee meeting
Yes.
preceding this council meeting to go over that. Okay, next.
Resolution number 2025-132-R, creating an HR generalist and HR specialist classification. This was also discussed at the HR committee. This is not a position that we are filling right now. It is more of a succession plan. Eventually, we want to move to an area where we have more modernized titles. If someone were to leave right now and I would have to advertise for a coordinator or a senior coordinator, that's not going to get the experience that we need without those more modernized titles. So we just kind of want to move into that next section and prepare for what comes in the future.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion or questions?
Just say thank you very much for all the work you're doing, you and your staff. Very much appreciative.
Okay, ready for a vote?
Councilmember Robleski,
Aye.
Councilmember Shaw,
Aye.
Councilmember Bartlett,
Aye.
Councilmember Spears, Councilmember Powell,
Aye.
Councilmember Denzine, Councilmember Seifert.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Planning.
Good evening. The first item is proposed ordinance number 2025-100. This is a request for vacation of utility and drainage easement at 129 Kerry Drive, which is in the Windermere subdivision. And the applicant is requesting a vacation of a part of the easement so they can do some rear yard improvements. Everybody has signed off. In terms of the utilities and city departments, we're recommending approval.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any questions? Ready for a vote?
Councilmember Powell,
Aye.
Councilmember Shaw,
Aye.
Councilmember Robleski,
Aye.
Councilmember Bartlett,
Aye.
Councilmember Spears, Councilmember Denzine, Councilmember Seifert.
Motion passes.
Thank you. The next item is Resolution Number 2025-128-R. This is a request for you to set a public hearing date for a rezoning of approximately 89 acres on the west side of Bowers Road, south of Huntsville-Browns Ferry. You can see the area on your screen. This is probably going to look familiar to you because you've taken action on this project a couple of times prior, the request for rezoning, I should say. We are asking that you set this public hearing for June 9th of this year. This item did go back to the Planning Commission, and we would present all the information at the public hearing in June.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? Ready for a vote?
Councilmember Shaw?
Aye.
Councilmember Powell?
Aye.
Councilmember Robleski?
Aye.
Councilmember Bartlett?
Aye.
Councilmember Spears? Councilmember Denzine? Councilmember Seifert?
It's a boomerang that keeps coming back.
I'm a little tired of this one, but okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. It passes. Police.
But Mary Beth's tired of it, too.
Who's your favorite person?
He is my favorite person.
Well, and not just because he has a gun, or?
No, but it helps.
Somebody's favorite.
Brought a taser and tased Kerry, it'd be my favorite.
I'm here for resolution number 2025-139R, and that's award of bid number 2025-010 ITB. It's for towing services to Import Record Service for towing services with the amount set forth in the attached bidding sheet that you guys should have. And any tows that are done for evidentiary purposes or other police-related purposes, we pay for out of our vehicle maintenance fund, and others will be paid by the owner.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? Ready for a vote?
Councilmember Robleski?
Aye.
Councilmember Powell?
Aye.
Councilmember Bartlett?
Aye.
Councilmember Shaw? Councilmember Spears? Councilmember Denzine? Councilmember Seifert?
Motion passes.
Thank you.
To my
Thank
fellow
you, Chief.
council members, thank you so much for being here so we could have quorum and conduct business. I really appreciate you so much.
Yes,
And
thank you for
if there's
leading us tonight.
Nothing else, ready to adjourn.
Thank you.
We are adjourned.
Don't be fooled by this quiet Madison street. It's really a battlefield as the annexation war goes on.
There are many advantages to this road. It's going to open up over 300 acres of corporate, commercial, and residential land for development.
That was weird.
They add that new growth and construction will require better city services.
No way. I mean, we are too intelligent a community.